Johnson Court Kids Law Firm opened in my front yard with a pile of law books perched precariously on my well cover and 6 legal eagles anxious to finally read the law. The scholars were me, my little brother, the 3 Shelburnes next door, and Bridget Card, whom we always had to call Bridget Card for some reason. It seemed like everything we did, for a couple summers at least, had the moniker Johnson Court Kids attached to it. So we had the Johnson Court Kids Fort Gloria complex after a terrific hurricane. Any yard sale that would have us had the Johnson Court Kids lemonade stand. Even the woodchuck at the end of the street in the field was the Johnson Court Kids woodchuck, never seen but often used as a rabies threat by our parents. So we were on our Johnson Court Kids bike patrol, the morning one, and we got up to the top of the hill and we saw a heap of books piled at the curb in front of the lawyer's house. Now, the lawyer had just passed away, so I guess his widow wasted no time in getting rid of the books in the study to make a macrame room or something. We leapt at the opportunity. As Bridget Card said as she ditched her Huffy, "Now is our chance." We sent little Tyshawn Shelburne, the middle Shelburne, back home to get the wagon while we pored over the tomes to decide which ones to take. As leader, I decided we should all each pick one and take it back to my house. We could hear the wagon rattling up Johnson Court with Tyshawn running in front of it. When he got there, we picked out the 6 best law books and put them into the wagon. We hopped back on our bikes and we sped home. Little Tyshawn dragged the wagon after us, trying to keep up and then trying not to get run over by the wagon when he hit the steep part of the hill right before my driveway. We set up shop on my well cover on my front yard because I was the oldest, the smartest, and the bossiest, so it was my law firm. We used dark green Gaida milk crates as our chairs, having no roller chairs available to us, and we could only fit 4 law books on the well cover. So little Tyshawn, the middle Shelburne, circled around with the other 2 law books clerking for us, switching out the law books when called upon. We studied law for about an hour or so, and then we moved on to our business plan. We decided to make our business cards, and I do distinctly remember the words murder, trial, and payment being on those business cards. We spent a little bit of time populating mailboxes, windshield wipers, front porches with our business cards, and then we went back to studying the law for another hour or so. By then it was time for the afternoon Johnson Court Kids bike patrol, but we had to do something about our law books. We knew we had to keep them safe. And the safest place from our experience to put anything is the bank. So we piled all 6 law books back into the wagon and tried to quietly cross my gravel driveway so my mother wouldn't peek her head out and ruin everything with sensible adult admonitions. Gravel driveways and wagons don't mix, and we ended up, all 6 of us, lifting the wagon about 1 centimeter off the ground and carrying it quietly across the gravel driveway to the other side of my garage, which was a big barn-like structure, and that's where the bank was. It stretched up from the garage to the scrubby brush that bordered the woods, and that's where our bank stood. Yes, it was that kind of bank. What were you thinking? It was the safest repository of all of our neighborhood treasures. We had National Geographics buried there, a bag of nickels, a canoe paddle, and most importantly, a piece of coal that promised a huge delivery when the investment came through. Just a week before, the bank had been covered with rotting crab apples, but luckily, the Johnson Court Kids Downhill Crab Apple Derby took care of that problem. It caused a bunch of other problems. On the other hand. So anyway, my brother came around the corner. He was our weapons, tools, and props expert, and he had smuggled 2 shovels. So we all took turns burying the law books into the bank for safekeeping. The hole was about 3 feet by 5. It could fit all 3 Shelburnes in it. And we buried those law books there safe and sound and took off our afternoon bike patrol. Our law office didn't really get much work. It sort of fizzled out. Unfortunately, Johnson Court didn't have many murders or fraud or divorces even. And soon another venture took its place. We had to find the canoe paddle buried in the bank so that we could use the canoe we had in the woods for the Johnson Court Kids camp that we were forming. So to my knowledge, those law books are still buried there in the bank, about 3.5 feet deep on the side of 12 Johnson Court, even to this day. So we had a lot of schemes and dreams, we Johnson Court kids, and we had a lot of scrapes and adventures, and they're all in the bank, my bank.